structure. Today is the second lecture of this chapter. In today's lecture, we will study about the properties of the cathode rays and the measurement of the charge over mass ratio of electron. First of all, let's start from the properties of the cathode rays. Students, in our last lecture, we studied about the production of cathode rays. We learned the construction and the working of the discharge tube. Here we have a supporting video of the cathode rays. In this video, we will have a review about the discovery and the production of the cathode rays, as well as we will study the properties of the cathode rays. First of all, let's have a review about the discovery. A scientist, William Crook, discovered cathode rays when he was studying the electrical discharge in the gases. Another scientist, J.J. Thomson, discovered that the cathode rays consist of negatively charged particles called electrons. Now the production. A gas discharge tube is a long glass tube which is known as discharge tube, and the cathode rays fitted with two metallic electrodes in which the negative one is known as cathode and the positive one is known as anode. There is an outlet through which the gas inside the tube can be withdrawn, vacuum pump. Here is a source of battery, generator, that may be generator or battery, and the stand to hold the discharge tube. Now students, by applying the electric charge that may be about from 10 kilovolt to the 20 kilovolt is applied between the electrodes. When we applied the high pressure and the pressure is reduced about the 0.001 millimeter of mercury by means of the vacuum pump. So when the pressure reduced, emission of light by the gas ceased. Certain rays were given out from the cathodes and traveled towards the anode. Such rays were called the cathode rays because they are originated from the cathode. Now the properties of the cathode rays. Cathode rays travel in the straight line. The cathode rays cast a sharp shadow when an opaque object is placed in their path. This proves that the ray travels in the straight line perpendicular to the surface of the cathode. The cathode rays consist of negatively charged particles, and you may see students that the rays can be deflected towards the positive plate, showing that they are charged particles. Cathode rays deflected by the magnetic field. When the tube is exposed to the magnetic field, it shows the curve to the magnet, which proves that it is actually the charged particle. It produces the X-rays, and you may see students, they can produce X-rays when they strike on an anode, particularly with a large atomic mass. Anode is made by any large atomic mass metal. Cathode rays travel with a high speed almost equal to the speed of the light and hence possess the kinetic energy. How we can say? That they can drive a small pedal wheel placed in their path. This verifies that they are material particles and have a certain momentum, which you may see in the video. Here student, few more properties of the cathode rays. The rays penetrate a small thickness of matter without producing any perforation. They produce heat when they fall on the thin metal foil. They can ionize the gas. The rays are independent of the gas which is filled in the tube and the material of the electrode. The rays carrying a fixed value of the charge to the mass ratio, that is a 1.7588 exponent 11 coulombs per kg. Measurement of the charge to mass ratio by the J.J. Thomson cathode rays experiment. That is the second topic of today's lecture. Students, a scientist J.J. Thomson subjected a beam of cathode rays electron particles to see the effect of the electric and magnetic field, which you may see in the diagram. In the beginning, in absence of any electric or magnetic field, the electrons from cathode rays struck the fluorescent screen at point B. Then, under the effect of the electric field, they strike at point A. And similarly, when we applied the magnetic field, then it strike at the point C. Now electric and magnetic fields were adjusted in such a way that the electron again strike at point B. In this way, by comparing the strength of the two fields, he determined the charge or mass value of an electron, which is about 1.7588 exponent 11 coulombs per kg. This means that 1 kilogram of electron having the 1.7588 exponent 11 coulombs of charge. Here we have a supporting video by which you can easily understand the measurement of the charge over mass ratio of electrons.
Is the forerunner of the television tube. It is a glass tube from which most of the air has been evacuated. When the two metal plates are connected to a high voltage source, the negatively charged plate, called the cathode, emits an invisible ray. The cathode ray is drawn to the positively charged plate, called the anode, where it passes through a hole and continues traveling to the other end of the tube. When the ray strikes this specially coated surface, the cathode ray produces a strong fluorescence or bright light. When an electric field is applied across the cathode ray tube, the cathode ray is attracted by the plate bearing positive charges. Therefore, a cathode ray must consist of negatively charged particles. We know these negatively charged particles as electrons. A moving charged body behaves like a tiny magnet, and it can interact with an external magnetic field. The electrons are deflected by the magnetic field. As expected, when the direction of the external magnetic field is reversed, the beam of electrons is deflected in the opposite direction. In 1897, J.J. Thomson, an English physicist, determined the charge-to-mass ratio of an electron. He adjusted the electric field so that the electrostatic deflection, theta E, was the same as the magnetic deflection, theta B, and was able to calculate the charge-to-mass ratio of an electron using the following equation, where E is the applied electric field, theta is the angle of deflection, B is the applied magnetic field, and L is the distance traveled by the cathode rays. Thomson determined the charge-to-mass ratio of an electron to be negative 1.76 times 10 to the 8th coulombs per gram.
Thank you so much, students. Wish you all the best. Good luck. Allah Hafiz.